Broadcasting live from the Garden State, it's Real Sports Talk with Kenny Kluska on the Damage 365 Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 75 of Real Sports Talk with Kenny Kluska. That's right, we are 3/4 of the way to triple digits here in early July on another hot day. Got the air conditioner blowing just to, try to stay cool. It's tough, though. Today marks the last day of what is unofficially the first half of the MLB regular season, and we'll have more on the second half coming up later on in the show. What else is coming up? Well, we are 2 weeks away from WWE's next pay-per-view, Battleground. Main event is the three members of The Shield, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and World Champ Dean Ambrose in a triple threat match. Should be entertaining. Of course, yesterday was UFC 200. Speaking of WWE, and Brock Lesnar making his first appearance in years in MMA, was able to defeat Mark Hunt via unanimous decision, 29-27. So, that's probably big for WWE because Brock Lesnar will be coming back next month for SummerSlam, and it has already been announced that his opponent will be the also returning Randy Orton. So, you have to think that his win in UFC could only help, his coming back to the WWE. We're also 26 days away from the Summer Olympics, which are taking place in Rio de Janeiro, and we are now only 60 days away from the NFL season opener, so about 2 months, not too far. Of course, the season opener is a Thursday game between the two Super Bowl participants, the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos. Broncos, of course, will not have Peyton Manning, who retired. Brock Osweiler signed with the Houston Texans. In all likelihood, we'll have Mark Sanchez under center against reigning MVP Cam Newton. So, 60 days away from that, 9 weeks away from the opening Sunday, when most teams kick off. Of course, preseason, is a few weeks prior to that. We're about a month away from that. So, football fans, not too much longer. You've waited long enough. Season is right around the corner. But coming up this week, as I mentioned, the unofficial first half of the season is over in baseball, which means we are into the All-Star break. Tuesday will be the actual All-Star game. Of course, the winner of that, their league will have home field advantage in the World Series. Still doing that because of the somewhat embarrassing moment when an All-Star game ended in a tie. Aren't quite sure when that happened. Maybe about a decade ago now. To make it actually meaningful, they have decided to make the All-Star game decide home field advantage. Winner of the All-Star game will get home field advantage. But tomorrow, what a lot of people like checking into, the Home Run Derby. 8 participants. They're seeded by the number of home runs they've hit this season. And it's almost like, NBA or NHL playoffs, where the 1 seed faces the 8 seed, 4 seed faces the 5 seed, and so on, 3, 6, and 2, 7. So we have the number 1 seed, Mark Trumbo, who leads the major leagues in home runs, facing the 8 seed, Los Angeles Dodgers rookie shortstop, Corey Seager. Then we have 4th seed Robinson Cano having a strong bounce-back season for the Mariners, facing 5th seed Giancarlo Stanton, who has been very hot as of recent. Then we have the 3rd seed, surprising Cincinnati Reds outfielder Adam Duvall going against Padres first baseman 6th seed Will Myers. And we have the defending Home Run Derby champion as the 2 seed. Last season did it with the Reds. Now he's on the Chicago White Sox. 3rd baseman Todd Frazier going against the 7 seed Colorado Rockies outfielder Carlos Gonzalez. Home Run Derby usually brings a lot of excitement. They've recently made more rules. There's a time limit. You get extra time if you hit multiple home runs over 440 feet. So, you would think that would benefit someone like Stanton, who, who easily has the most home runs, like 450 feet or longer, over the past 4 or 5 seasons. If you're looking for a prediction from me, I don't really want to make the homer pick. Most of you should know by now that I am a Miami Marlins fan. I'm going with Duvall, with the Cincinnati Reds, 3rd seed. I'm picking him to win the Home Run Derby. I believe there's 3 or 4 Reds that have won the Home Run Derby, including last year, Todd Frazier. I know Dave Parker won. Adam Duvall will look to be yet another Red to win the Home Run Derby. That comes up tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Same time as Monday Night Raw, so, decisions for some fans of sports and wrestling. NBA, of course, free agency started last week on last Sunday's show. We were wondering where Kevin Durant would sign. He had announced that he would announce where he would be going the following day, July 4th, Monday. It looks really to be between the Warriors, Celtics, and Thunder. And, of course, every basketball fan knows by now, he has joined the team that has won 73 games last season, joining forces with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. The Warriors did have to lose a bunch of players in order to get Durant. They traded Andrew Bogut to the Mavericks. They lost Festus Ezeli. They lost Leandro Barbosa. They lost Brandon Rush. I might be missing someone, but they lost those 3 guys to free agency. But of course Kevin Durant is definitely a more meaningful player than all those guys. And, it'll be interesting to see what happens. How much can a team really improve, at least in the regular season, from NBA record 73 win season? You would have to think anything less than that would almost be a disappointment, especially the way this is hyped up. They arguably have 4 of the top 15, 20 players in the NBA, and Durant, Curry, Thompson, and Green. Steph Curry, of course, won the last 2 MVPs, and the year prior to that, Durant won MVP. But, almost everyone seems to be handing him the trophy, and, I'm not ready to do that yet. 2 years ago, Durant got injured, missed almost the entire second half in the playoff. Well, actually, Thunder didn't even make the playoffs, but he wouldn't have played if they had. Steph Curry, of course, missed some games this year's playoffs due to ankle injuries. He's had multiple ankle injuries over the course of his career. Past 2 years he has stayed somewhat healthy, but in the beginning of his career, people were wondering, about his ankles. So, it's no guarantee that he stays healthy for all 82 games. There's just a lot that can happen. I'm not ready to give the Warriors the title yet. They're still the Cavaliers, defending champions. They're still there. They really haven't lost anyone. Matthew Dellavedova did go to the Bucks, but no one else that was really meaningful to him. Mozgov signed with the Lakers, but he wasn't even playing in the NBA Finals, yet made $16 million a year with the Lakers. But I went over that a little bit last week. Real quick, if you want to hear about some of these NBA free agent contracts and how crazy the money sounds, listen to last week's show. I go over my top 10 WTF NBA contracts over this year's free agency. There was plenty of them. I could have made it 30, and there's been a few more in the week that has passed since that show. A WTF contract, and not really for the money, but just the shock value, is Dwayne Wade leaving the Miami Heat. No one really expected it. Last year, same thing was kind of happening where, he just was not happy with the contract negotiations, hinted that he may talk with other teams, ended up re-signing with the Heat for a year. Many people just assumed that would happen again, that he would re-sign with the Heat, but he had meetings scheduled with the Nuggets, Bucks, and Bulls, and lo and behold, he decided to sign a 2-year deal with his hometown team, the Chicago Bulls. Surprised many. The Heat offered him 2 years and $40 million. The Bulls offered him 2 years, $47 million. Decided to take the Bulls offer. With taxes, it's actually less than $7 million more. He just did not seem happy with the way that negotiations were going. Even on social media, though, he was kind of hinting that he just was not happy with didn't seem fully happy with the decision. He was a Heat lifer, played there for 13 years. Yes, he's going back to his hometown team, but it's hard to see the Bulls really making any noise come playoff time. They have a nucleus of him, Rajon Rondo, who they just recently signed, and Jimmy Butler, but there just seems to be, a decent amount of teams, even in the lesser conference of the Eastern Conference, where there aren't as many good teams. The Knicks have improved a lot. The Pacers have improved a lot. There's Cavs, of course. Raptors, other than losing Biyombo, pretty much going to be bringing back the same team. So there's plenty of teams out there that seem to have more talent than the Chicago Bulls, but, that's Wade's decision, and, some Heat fans are disappointed. It's crazy, just this whole craze of burning, players' jerseys. We first mostly saw it when LeBron James first left the Cavs for the Heat. Then we started seeing it when Durant left the Thunder, and 13 years, 3 championships with the Heat. There are still some idiot, and yes, I'll call him idiot Heat fans who decided to burn Wade's jersey. Thanks for 13 years and 3 championships. Ridiculous. Anyhow, that's pretty much the first half of the show. Once we get back from commercial break, I'll be talking about some things that we should be looking for come the second half of the MLB regular season.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order. This is the hardcore icon, Just Incredible, and you're listening to Damage 365 Radio. Now that's not just the coolest, that's not just the best. Damage 365 Radio, now that's just incredible. Wrestling Superstore, selling wrestling memorabilia from all around the world, including WWE, TNA, Japan, Mexico, and the very best of the independents. They've got action figures, DVDs, autographed memorabilia, t-shirts, and more. Plus, stop in and get tickets for great promotions like UWA Elite, CZW, and many others. Located indoors at the world